two things. At the time, my song Let Go had just came out. And so I had a lot of people responding to me and saying how it's been changing their lives. And when I was connecting with them, I felt no pain. I felt joy. I felt peace. I was like, this is amazing. Like because I had broken, fractured my wrist, and I was in the waiting room, and I'm like, wow. While I'm typing with these people, even though they're not physically here, and I'm connecting with them, there was zero pain, and
Wow.
like,
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Maria Felipe TV. I am so happy to be back with a new episode. And I have to say, I'm excited and grateful. I feel whenever we connect with others and we collaborate for the higher good, for what the course calls to be truly helpful, is amazing. So that's what I love about this podcast because I get to join with people and we get to have really deep conversations that really change lives. And I feel that this individual, this person is really doing that and committed to that. His name is Jay Clay. He's a spiritual hip hop artist. Okay, that already got me already. And former NASA engineer who blends science, music, and spirituality in a powerful way. His work focuses on healing, consciousness, and transforming the mind through intentional lyrics and sound. He also has a debut album that's called I Am Nobody, I Am Someone, has gained recognition as a tool for emotional and mental healing. I love those titles. And he's becoming one of the leading voices in the growing movement of spiritual hip hop. So that is going to be our guest for today here on Maria Felipe TV. And I am so excited to have you, Jay Clay, on. And I can hardly wait to get this conversation going because I feel that you and I have so much in common. So I'm excited to see where spirit takes us today.
yeah, I'm excited as well. Thank you for having me. Yeah, let's jump into it.
Amazing.
I'm ready. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how I can see both of us at the same time. Give me one second, gallery.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Multi-speaker. All right, there we go. Multi-speaker. I like it. So, I had let's have a little talk. As you all know, I've been teaching the course for over 20 years. Most of my community knows that. And then Jay Clay has been involved with the Course of Miracles for how long?
Since 2018.
Since 2018. Okay. That's an important year. That's the year my son was born. So you're gonna go on eight years pretty much, I think, with the course. And the Course of Miracles, for those that don't know, it's a spiritual text. It looks like this. And it was born in 1975, 76. Actually, 1976 is when I was born. Not that you guys, don't start to do the math, but 1976, they actually just celebrated their 50th year anniversary. The Course of Miracles did, of publishing the book. And it was a channel book from Jesus. And people sometimes don't believe it. And well, I don't know if you need to believe it or not believe it, but I do believe that when you really practice it and you live it in your life, it really changes your life. So I wanted to talk to Jay Clay about it just because he's been a student, a teacher. He's also an artist and he uses his music to spread this message. To just tell us a little bit about your journey of how you found the course and how it's impacting and changing your life.
Yeah, so I found the course kind of on accident, but of course it was not an accident. I think I was watching an ASMR video, and it was this person on there who were speaking like spiritual truths and things. And I watched her transition, and I know she didn't have the same background as me, but she was coming to like the same conclusions. And I guess my background is in college or after college, I started reading the Bible from cover to cover just to understand it. And I would get a little understanding, but I didn't. I still had more questions, so I would read it again, just trying to understand life and be able to be happy. And I kind of came to the conclusion like our thoughts kind of uh, our thoughts are very important into how we experience things. And so I worked on trying to make sure my thoughts were good and pure and hype myself up like I'm great. I'm able to do this. I can move mountains. Just kind of talking
Of
myself
that.
up. But I had that mindset for a while, and then after I saw this ASMR video, she started giving off spiritual channels that she watched. And I'm like, okay, how does she come to this conclusion? She doesn't believe the words of the Bible or anything. And one channel I watched, this lady was reading an excerpt from a book called Jesus, My Autobiography. Now, I was like, how? How does Jesus have an autobiography? This makes no sense. I didn't know anything about channeling, or in fact, I probably thought channeling was wrong or something, as you know, as it could be alluded from the Bible, but it doesn't
Yeah.
actually say that. So, but I listened to the excerpt, and it was when Jesus was speaking about when he was getting baptized by John the Baptist, and from his personality, it seemed like what I resonated with. Not the idea that the world seems to show at Jesus as. It was like, no, this is the real Jesus, and I resonated with it. So I got the book, I devoured it in a couple of days, and in it he said, "That's why I wrote A Course in Miracles." I said, "What? Let me look this up." I looked up the book. It was by a different publisher, different author, so it had nothing to do with that. He had nothing to gain by saying that. And then I got the book. It changed everything. Like it I guess the difference in my mentality was instead of me hyping myself up and seeing the greatness in me, I saw the greatness in everyone. I saw it in everything, and I realized
Mm.
that I couldn't keep creating the same type of music, making the same type of music that furthered separation or put seeds of doubt in others. And it wasn't that my music was bad before; it just wasn't, I would say,
It
wholly.
wasn't aligned to love, like as much love. Yeah, I get
Right.
it. Mhm.
Yeah, and so I ended up deleting a bunch of songs because I was like, these are good songs, but I can't put it out because learning and teaching is one, giving and receiving is one. That which I give, I receive.
Wow, I
I
love
want to
that.
receive love. I want to receive all of this greatness.
Yeah.
So I knew I couldn't put that out anymore.
Wow. That's I love that you did that and that you followed that guidance because you didn't have to do that. You could have just left it there and whatever and but you're like, "No, I feel that, everything has energy." Right, Jake? Like, I just feel like everything has energy and the energy that you want to put up out is one that's aligned to love, one that's aligned to truth, one is that aligned to that holiness, as the course says, that holiness that we are, that we've never left the mind of God. Have that energy. So if you're like doing lyrics that say booty, 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 I don't know what it was, but you know what I mean? Because usually the rap songs is literally about women or like, I don't know, I got together with the ladies or whatever it is. But do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
so the energy is so different. And I'm so happy you heard that call.
yeah, and it's not, and I would say to that, like, I'm not against any music at all,
Yeah.
but it's just like you said, there's a certain energy that I want to be in. There's a certain
Yeah.
frequency that I want to vibrate in, and I knew I couldn't give off anything other than this to be in that frequency.
Yeah, it was your path. It was like it felt aligned to where you want to go and
Yeah,
what you want to put out there. And as an artist, you have a right to do that, like what feels good for you. I get inspired by different music. Like I'll be at the gym and I don't know if the lyrics are good or not, but if it makes me move, I'll like just film it. And the lyrics could be bad. I have no idea what to say, but it made me move, it made me happy, so I'll share it. So I don't really have any judgments against certain songs and such, but I do feel like something that I integrate in my life all the time is having things that are aligned to love and that inspire me and good energy. And some songs, just have really good beats, sometimes and but most of them I think say good things. It's just that, sometimes I'll do like Pitbull and Mark Anthony and they're always talking about women and
yeah,
I don't know. Anyways, they're boy crazy. Women crazy, I mean.
yeah,
So I like that you did that and that you listened to that. And now you being a course student now and really integrating it in it, how the course is all about perception change. How can I change my perception from fear to love? How can I forgive is one of the biggest teaching the course has is why the course? Why do you feel like it has touched your heart so much and it has changed your life and you've decided for that path, but versus any other path, right?
yeah. The reason is it makes sense. Like it makes logical sense. I remember when I was first reading the course, and I would I was like, that can't be true, but I would try to poke holes in it and I couldn't, and then I would try it and it actually worked. Like for instance, even about sickness, right? It says no, let's say pain. It says pain is an illusion, and I was like, pain is not an illusion, and I got mad, I got upset when I first read that. I was ready to fight for my right to keep pain, but then I realized, why would I fight to keep something that I say I don't want, but fighting leads to pain? This is insane thinking. And it was right there, like, this is insane thinking. Like, pain is an illusion. And so when I started to allow myself to see that, I still had spurts where I experienced pain. But I was able to handle it differently. Like the first time I experienced pain, I went into meditation in the sense, and after reaching a meditative state, the pain was gone, and I was like, okay, if this pain was truly real, it will always be here, but it's not. It's not here.
Oh,
And so when I came out of the state, the pain came back because I wasn't there yet. You know what I mean? But then later on, years later, something else happened where I experienced pain, or maybe the next year, and I realized two things. At the time, my song "Let Go" had just came out, and so everyone was. I had a lot of people responding to me and saying how it's been changing their lives. And when I was connecting with them, I felt no pain. I felt joy. I felt peace. I was like, this is amazing. Like because I had broken fractured my wrist, and I was in the waiting room, and I'm like, wow. While I'm typing with these people, even though they're not physically here, and I'm connecting with them, there was zero pain, and
wow.
like it lasted even when I wasn't connected to them, like in a sense of communication, that peace state. And again, like after a while, maybe this time it took longer for the effects, the real effects of peace to wear off, and then I felt inklings of pain again. But now it's a different situation. Like I almost want to say pain is non-existent, but it's beautiful to apply these things and move toward them.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole different shift of life. It's a better quality of life, everyday life. And when you're talking speaking of the body and pain, um it's great. It's interesting when you say it's an illusion, like the body's an illusion, pain is an illusion. And but at the same time, a lot of people get confused because like you said, it seems like it's real, like this is a real thing. Like my body does hurt. What do you mean it's an illusion? But the course is not speaking, it's not intellectual. It's not like a fact that way. It's more of like the truth is universal truth of like it's an illusion because anything that's not love isn't real, right? But in the world of separation and where we are, it feels very real, right? But what you experienced was you collapsing the separation within your mind. It's like going into another portal or vortex that is totally doable, and we can actually do that. I feel that our perception, we have a misconception about our perception, and we feel that only this is true. Only this is true, which is the body, the but what you did is you opened up and you're like, wait a second, there's more to this. There's more dimensions here. I can see myself differently. I can heal. I can experience my pain differently. I can experience my life differently. And that's what the course gives us when we decide to, well, really believe that, Jay Clay, right? Really believe that we are not a body. Like really believe that. Because one thing is to, oh my God, I just got the goosebumps. One thing is like to say it, right? Like, I am not a body, I am free, right? That's like a really great lesson for the body. By the way, anybody, if you have pain or body issues, I'm not a body, I'm free is a really great lesson. But the other thing is like, do you really gonna believe it? Are you really gonna practice that? The fear voice would say, the pain is real, I'm identified with it, this is for real, it's never gonna be over with. And then love would say, breathe, right? But love would say, just stay still. Love would say, acceptance, trust. It's exactly perfect, right? So, yeah.
Right. And also like I was happy because I had the opportunity now to see if this was true or not. Like, because
Yeah, you got to do like an experiment. You were like
right,
experimenting.
yeah, and then the fact that I was happy about it almost made the pain go away just from that. Like, oh, I'm happy that I get to see if if pain will last, and it kind of moved it away. So it's an interesting thing.
Do you feel like also maybe within that there was like a sense of letting go of judgment of
Yes,
it, right? I feel that judgment is such a big key to everything. The less we judge, the less we make things real, the less we give it importance, they fade. It starts to fade. The illusion starts to fade right before your eyes, even though you're in a world of the dual world. Does that make sense?
yes, and I'll share this something that happened in the physical world again regarding pain. This past December, I was playing basketball, and something happened. Somebody, I don't know if they ran into me, they did something to me, and I started to feel pain. And I was about to go tell them what they did to me, and I said, "Nah, you know what? They didn't do anything. I'm not gonna tell them anything. Nothing happened. Like I literally can't even remember what happened." And when I said that, the effects went away. Like the pain went away instantly. That I was like, this is amazing, because I almost wanted to guilt the person into letting them know the pain that they provided, and I wanted to go down this rabbit hole when it was like, no, they did nothing. And I know if people aren't familiar with the Course in Miracles, this sounds like foreign language. Like, what? How can not acknowledging something, is that bypassing? No, it's saying I can go into the reality that I want to and be in this space where you're not tethered to what happened in the past. You're this space is almost an empty vessel where all things can flow through it.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. It's like a new beginning kind of sense, like you're coming back to truth, letting go of the separation. I know, I think that maybe somebody's watching this is like, oh my God, like this is so radical. That's what I thought when I first met the course in the 90s. I was like, this is so upside down. Like, what do you mean you forgive people for what they didn't do? Or like you said, the body's not real and this world is an illusion and we're dreaming. Like it's just but but trust me, everyone, if you want to know more about the course, please check out the Foundation for Inner Peace. They're the original publishers of the course, or Google or ChatGPT, Course in Miracles, what is it? And it's an incredible teaching. It's a book that really just reminds you again of your true nature, of who you are in truth. And I love what you said that you're like again, you practice it. And that's important because people don't understand that in the practice is where the results come. It's like changing your habits. We're so addicted and habitually connected to our past, to our grievances, to reliving our past. So we need to practice. What you did is you practiced it coming back to the present moment, collapsing time in a sense, like your past, and starting a new future, in a way. I mean, because I know you know about science, so I think that that connects, correct? Like
Yes,
especially quantum science, quantum
yeah,
physics.
you're right,
Yeah,
100%. Because
yeah,
like, as the course teaches, cause and effect are one. Like, an effect can't exist without its cause. And what we do often is we hold the cause everywhere we go. And to every time we say, oh, this happened back in 19 something where somebody did this to me, so I have to carry this burden with me right now. And you can leave that there. You can thank it for what it's done for you and leave it there and not have to carry that. So now you don't have this cause anymore, so the effects are no longer there. And then secondly, we end up making effects a new cause. So rather than doing what we love to do joyfully, we react to how we've judged the situation, and want something lesser for ourselves. So, for example, someone might say, hey, I want to be a photographer and travel the world. But then something happens where they need a lot of money and they say, you know what? I don't want to be a traveler. I just want to pay for this thing real quick. I just want to get back out of debt. And then you abandon that for a new cause that's not even a real cause. Like, if you stay the course, so to speak, everything will naturally work out because it's moving to match your vibration.
yeah. I love the way you're talking the cause and effect because it's very different and unique. It's just very um had never heard it described that way, and I think it's a really, really clear way to describe like the cause and effect sort of thing, and it's and aligning it with the energy frequency, of that. I think that that's phenomenal. I'm still like with my mouth open. I'm like, wait, I gotta hear that again. I'm gonna need to rewind this and hear that again. But that was such a great way to explain it. And going back to practice, I feel that when you start to practice this, it's like get ready because miracles abound. Miracles in the course is basically a change of perception from fear to love. And what used to bother you doesn't bother you anymore. What used to cause you pain doesn't cause you pain anymore, as you've spoken to already. And what happens is, and you can speak to this too, Jay Clay, it's like we start to become more awake in the dream. And what I mean by that is like it's like you don't it's like you already know that you don't want to relive your past. It's like you get it. You get the joke. That's the thing. You get the joke. So when something happens, like let's say my husband's about, to piss me off, or I know, it's like I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, look at me. I'm starting to become Maria la Loca. The crazy Maria is about to come out and I see her and I could feel the whole thing and then I could break that effect, like the effect of fear immediately because I know better because I don't relate to that anymore. It's like, no, I'm not going there. He's not my problem. The problem is not him. The problem is what I'm thinking and believing and my story and my grievances. It's incredible. You start to have like such a powerful life, right?
And it was funny too, like so, like in those situations, for example, people like to win, and that's the thing. People want to win an argument, win this or that. In a sense, this is a way where everyone wins. So I do this now when it's getting tense. Like I've done this in an almost real fight, and it works 100% of the time where you bring love to the surface. Like you fill your heart with all the love. You connect with them. You allow the Holy Spirit to come in. And when I say instantly, any negative energy dissolves for the both of you, for the entire group. And it's funny because it's like my ego self is like, you don't even know what I'm about to do to you. I'm about to neutralize all this where we won't even be mad at each other. But it's a good thing too because we're connecting in spirit, which is opposite of the ego. And so everyone always wins in that situation because since we're all made of love at our truth and at our core, no one can resist. It's like shining away the darkness. If the light is bright enough, no darkness can be in the same space as light.
Yeah, that's such a practical way. I wish I would have remembered that when I told off my neighbors like a few months ago at the pool because they pissed me off because they didn't invite my son. I don't know what it was, but I really made it real, and we got in the biggest fight. And I forgot that at that point. I forgot that, but I do see them often, so I have the opportunity to continue practicing, and healing that relationship. But things are gonna come up and in our lives, and people are gonna trigger us. And the course always shows us another way of seeing our brother and sister, and it's a win-win for everybody, because you do connect with them in spirit. You connect with them in another space and time. That's not the separation, is not the illusion, right?
Yeah. And when I first was getting into the course and I started to understand it, and I kind of had what I call the switch where it just all the lights came on. It made sense. I would I would be crazy for triggers almost. Like I would welcome them. Like, yes, I can't wait for someone to trigger me because I wanted to see like what causes that. Like why when you say these combination of words, it affects me in such a way that I'm ready to not be myself. And then when it would happen and I would pause to look at it, I would see it was a combination of a couple things where it was something that I thought was true that I thought I hid from the world. So it's something that I tried to hide of myself that I thought was true, but I tried to hide from them. But then when I looked at it, I'm like, well, that's not true. That's not who I am. That's not the truth of me. Or they would just say something completely absurd, or it would just be some false belief that I accepted when I was a child that I never re-looked at with adult eyes. And when you see those things, it's like, yeah, you can't there's almost becomes no way to trigger you anymore because like you said you start to become aware of what reality is and it's like oh this is nothing.
Yeah, that's why that's a great description of what I said earlier about when you practice more and more and more, watch out because you will have miracles happen. You will see things differently, and you'll be in situations differently than you were before. And it kind of happens sometimes even automatically because it's like when you go to the gym and you start to change your body, it's like you start to literally change your mind when you start to perceive things differently. It's like what sometimes I astonish myself of things that I don't give attention to, or how fast I forgive, or how compassionate I get, or how loving I can become because of this work, and things that you think you can never get over, things that you think that are so hard become so minimal because you remember who your father is. We remember who our father is, and that we've never left the mind of God. I think that's such great news too, Jake Clay, because people always say, oh, God created, well, how could God create, starving children or like wars and this and that? And I'm like, well, the good news is that the course says that God has nothing to do with this world. That's like the great thing, like has nothing to do with it. On the contrary, it's like he holds us in a pedestal and it's like knows that we've chosen love. Like there's nothing to forgive because it's like he's not even waiting for us to wake up. We're already awakened, within the mind of God. So it's like that's what's such good news, that this world isn't real and that God didn't create anything of this, and has and holds our highest regard in love, right? So I don't know, it's very comforting for me.
Yeah. And it's beautiful too because as you start to let go of these things there's a new level of love, there's a new level of joy. And even though I've been doing this I'm still reaching new levels and I'm like it gets even better than this, it gets even better than that. And it's it becomes fun. Like life really becomes worth living. Like you hear, of course, you'll still hear bad news, but you realize is it really bad? I don't know their situation. I don't know their purpose. I don't know their thought system, what their intention is, and it's not even for me to say or judge. All I can do is focus on extending God's love to everyone I come in contact with, to every environment I'm in, and that's what I'm happy to do.
Yeah, and also it's you when you forget, you choose again, you choose love again, you choose God, you just choose again, and that's the beauty of the course too. It's like we're guiltless. The Son of God is guiltless, and there's no guilt and there's no sin. I my first book, Live You're Happy, the first chapter is you're not bad and you're not going to hell. You know, it's exactly the way I started it off the bat. It's like we and that's so freeing too because we are not defined by our behaviors because a mind that's crazy just does crazy things, you know, and we're not defined by that. God defines us, and our love is upheld on that pedestal, right? So I feel that the more that we remind ourselves that we're guiltless, that we're sinless, that we're not bad boys and girls, that we can't mess it up, you know, the easier life becomes because so many people, and maybe you're watching this right now, somebody's watching this and feels guilty, feels separated, and that's fine. It's like, but then you see this and you're like, oh my God, how synchronistic, you know, spirit has your back. Like you're watching this now. So maybe look into seeing that you're not guilty, that you're not sinless, that maybe, you know, what you've been told is maybe not aligned to where you're at now. So that's why I love doing these conversations because you never know who's gonna bump into them. You know,
Yeah.
you never know who's gonna bump into it. I had a question, another quick question, Jay Clay, which was about your music, and how you've worked that with the course. You've already told me that you do more aligned work with love, but how has the music part come into the healing of the course in miracles?
Yeah. So, well, one, I've always done music, and when I understood the relationship between teaching and learning, again, I wanted to learn all this love stuff. I wanted to learn miracles, so I knew that I had to teach it. I had to know it well enough to teach. And so I was like, well, do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to like sit in front of a class? How do I want to do this? And naturally, music, just because I love music. So I tested it out. I made a couple songs, and I wanted to make sure that one, it wasn't corny. Two, I wasn't overly preachy, like that. It was a way that people could digest it. Now, I mean, I do have some songs where it's more, as somebody could say, tough love, but it's just love. Like it's really pure love, nothing tough about it. Uh, but I will say, once I started doing it and I liked what I heard, I got positive feedbacks from others. I knew that it was something that I it was meant for me to do. Like I got overwhelming responses from people, and I felt like it was God communicating with me. But what's funny about it is, as much as my songs help others, it helps me just as much. Like I would listen to something right when I needed to of mine. I'm like, did I say that? This is speaking to me right now. I needed to hear this. And it's weird because one, like I wrote it, but not really. I tuned into the spirit and the spirit flowed through. So it's not so and it's like God is so good, I get the credit for it, but really I'm just tuning in to the love spirit and dictating it in a sense.
Yeah, and the music has is aligned to the Course in Miracles too. Do you use some of the Course in Miracles lessons and workbook lessons and stuff?
Not exactly like I'll it will be through my filter. Like I will say it in a way that I feel like is more easily digestible to people.
More
Um,
practical and
right.
everyday, like yeah, so people can relate. And have you performed these songs yet, or have you done it online?
Yeah,
How
yeah. I performed. I performed online. I performed in person at some conferences, some retreats. Yeah, it's like I said, the response is always a great response, and people can feel the essence of the music.
wonderful. And now in closing, Jay Clay, what is your favorite workbook lesson you think that comes up in your mind?
So what's funny is it's a couple, but one of them is today's lesson. If you're doing it starting from January 1st, I think it's lesson 76. I am under no laws but God's.
I don't know.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I had a reading done, and somebody had instinctively brought that up of me, like, "Hey, this is your aligned lesson. I'm under no rules by God, but God's." And to me, that lesson is very freeing because everyone has all these rules they try to live by. Even my ego has certain rules that I try to live by, but God and love is unlimited, no limits. Like which means almost no rules. You can say there's no rules, but not exactly that, but in a way, exactly that. Like you don't have to be confined to how you've always done stuff. You can do something new today. You can do something new right now and be free of those constraints that get you to feel not love.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, Jay Clay. Well, thanks for coming and being here at Maria Felipe TV. And I was gonna actually, we're gonna say bye now, but I would like to end with one of your songs. So what I will do is I will insert one of your songs at the end of the podcast. That way people can listen to it. And I think it'll be such a nice way energetically to finish the podcast. So, but in the meantime, bye everyone. Thanks, Jay Clay, for joining us. And if you love A Course in Miracles, if you want to find out more about it, I invite you to check out the Foundation for Inner Peace online. Also, check out Jay Clay on his social. What's your social, Jay Clay?
J Clay first, JCLAY1ST.
One is T. Perfect. And I'll put that also on the description link below. And as you guys know, mine is A Course in Miracles. I will also link that below. And thank you everyone for joining us. And remember, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Till next time, bye bye.